Hi, I'm Andrea Tyndall, and welcome to Jewtalk. This is our last episode in this series for this year before we break for the summer. So we thought it would be fun to get a couple Jews together, very global. I'm an American Jew. We have an Israeli-Ukrainian Jew, and over on the camera we have a Iranian-German Jew. We'll at least try to give you some range of opinion on what Jews think today in Europe, so stay tuned. When you first moved here, didn't you find it weird that you find a lot of Gentiles here with a lot of Jewish stuff all over them?
I did. First time I went to Friesland. That's in the early 90s. Oh my God, in this little village, all of a sudden people have these Stars of David and people have books about Israel and they have never been to Israel before.
Or a lot of them do a little vacation there. It's like a holy...
Not in the village. They never went out of the village. They never even been to Amsterdam. They told me, like, what's there in Amsterdam,
Did they tell you that their family saved Jews during the war?
Yes, definitely. And they always showed me the rooms in the farms where the Jews used to hide. And then they took me to the Jewish cemetery where and they told me that now, obviously, there are no Jews.
So did that seem kind of odd to you? Was this your reception to Holland?
Kind of, yeah. It was a very... Well, I was pretty shocked.
Now that you've lived here many years, what do you think of their stories?
Come on. I wanted to talk about the 80s.
That's a very good topic. Let's see, in the 80s, was Israel fighting or was it not fighting?
Lebanon War.
Lebanon War. First Intifada?
First Lebanon War, first Intifada. That's when I was in the army.
And I hear that you can also load, you can lock and load and tear down a machine gun in 3.7 seconds.
Not anymore. I used to be able to.
A very learned scholar here at our own faculty said something a few years ago that has always stuck in my mind. He said, the only thing more scarier than a woman with a gun is a Jew with a gun. Can you guess who that was? Yep, that was him.
Jews with guns are what we call in Hebrew Eved Kiimloch. That's a slave who came to power.
I thought we called it a Zionist.
Same thing.
Okay, go ahead.
It's, It's the Jews who always took pride of being the most non-violent religion, but they were only the most non-violent religion as long as they didn't have state power. And as soon as they had state power, the whole spiritual Judaism was ended.
There is a certain kind of, what do you want to say, a kind of structural, a kind of undertone. Anyways, this whole thing about the other. And certainly after 9/11, there were certain attacks. There was, anti-Semitism does raise its head here occasionally. It never kind of makes me feel, because it feels very distant for me because of the university but
I don't feel it. I feel as the other. I feel as the foreigner, the outsider, but I don't feel any particular hostility because of being Israeli, if that's what you mean. Well, I only get angry when people talk shit without knowing what they're talking about. But if they have a reasoned argument, or even just a sentiment in which they tell me that the policies of the State of Israel are not to their liking, I cannot do anything but agree with them and even perhaps be more extreme because I know. I would rather talk to an intelligent person, though, that has an opinion different to mine than talk to someone who is full of shit that pretends to be thinking the same way I do. But that unfortunately happens a lot here. I hate this topic. I would much rather talk about the 80s. And yeah, it's a never-ending discussion, and I don't even see the point of it much, frankly.
Thank you to everybody who's tuned in for the last few weeks and have watched Tyndall Talk. Thank you, and we appreciate your support. I especially want to give a hand out to the producer, Dariush, who not only invented the show, shoots the show, but actually makes us all look halfway intelligent, because believe me, if you saw the film, we're stupid as hell. And you hear the last because we all know that. And for the rest, I'd just like to say thank you, have a nice summer, and always remember, whenever it's quiet, Tyndall's talking. See you next year.